We're in this interesting time of parenting that I would consider the golden era. They're still so young and so innocent, creative and crazy, but they still think mom and dad are cool. And so we're all keeping up with the energy at the same time. And I think that we'll look back on it and we'll just say, damn, like that was an awesome period of life. We've got this maybe 3-year window where we don't have real world challenges. We've got challenges that are just within inside of our house.
What's up, dads? This is the Rise and Dad podcast, a podcast in perspective on life as a dad from dads who are intentional about their fatherhood. I'm your host, Kevin Delro, and we're really excited to have you here today. But first, we have a word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is DILF brand. DILF brand is a brand of hats, pretty sweet. You might have heard the word DILF before, but this brand stands for Damn, I Love Fatherhood. They actually make some pretty sweet hats. We got this fatherhood one that says Everyday Hero, and it says DILF on the back, actually, the DILF logo. Another hat, this is the father figure hat. It's like a corduroy brown, Damn I Love Fatherhood on the front. You can find DILF brand on Instagram, DILF_brand. This is a company for dads that love what they do, and I love what they're doing over there also. So thanks, DILF brand. We have a great guest. He works in AI software sales. He's got 2 daughters, 8 and 5, and we're going to talk about all things being a girl dad, coaching, and balancing fatherhood and personal interests. He's a good friend of mine, so I'm really excited to have him on the pod. Welcome, John, to the pod.
Yeah, stoked to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being here, man. One of the best things about having friends on the podcast is that I get to experience them as fathers, like in the real world, and then get to invite you onto the podcast where we can actually talk about all the things that we've gone through or seen with our kids interacting. And I have always admired just your presence for your daughters. And I know that work is demanding and you have other interests, but I always see you on social media with your daughter, or you're with your wife and they're there too. Yep. And one of the cool things that I remember about you, John, is we were having our daughter. You talked about how life doesn't necessarily change so much with kids. And I remember you telling me, we still do all the same things. We just do it with our kids now. And I found that really powerful. And I actually kept that in mind because it was like, you can easily get down on yourself and be like, oh, like we can't do this anymore and this anymore. But if you have that idea of like, no, hell no, we could do it. You're just coming along with us. And I always remember that.
I appreciate you calling that out. Yeah, they're resilient.
Yeah.
Your family. Keep it. Got to bring them along.
Yeah, for sure, man. So why don't you go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about you and your family?
Yeah, my name's John. Live here in Seattle. I'm in AI software. I've got 2 beautiful girls. Sawyer, who turns, I was going to say she's 8, but she'd correct me. She will correct me when she hears this. She's 8 in 3 weeks at the beginning of August. And I've got my 5-year-old daughter, Marley, who COVID baby. So, you know, she's a little firecracker. And then married for coming up on 10 years now in August to my wife, Danielle. And yeah, we're just one little big happy family. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention we have a 10-year-old golden retriever who, the firstborn.
Yeah, no, I love that. John, what's going on in your house right now?
We are summer break right now. So I think most parents can relate to that. Summer break is, it's a grind. The kids are home. So it's juggling camps, it's juggling, keeping the kids busy. When I get off work, my wife, she works from home as well. She's got her own stuff going on too. So really just keeping everybody busy, keeping everybody sane, and keeping the kids from beating each other up too much. But no, man, we're actually just wrapping up a remodel on our house too. So a lot of chaos going on.
You're just throwing it all in.
I know.
Just making it easy.
I know. All at once.
Yeah, you know what? My daughter just finished preschool, but we never really had like summer break. And with camps and vacation and all, what's difficult for us is that like literally every week is different. Yeah. Based on the camp, you might have to pick up at 3 or you might have to drop off at 3. And it's like having care and work schedules, nothing's like set as far as like when they're in school, it's just like, here's pickup, here's that. And so that's been the hardest thing for us with summer break is what camp is it this week? Where are we picking it up and what time? And so with 2 girls and your camps, I feel you, man.
Yeah, you just embrace the chaos, I think. It's chaotic at first, and then you build a routine, and then you break that routine, and then you go to the next one.
Yeah. I like that line, embrace chaos. We might put that as the tagline for this one. I was going to share with you a parent story of what's happening in our life because we just got back from a bit of a European tour. My wife and my 4-year-old, we started off in Paris. We kind of went all out. We did Paris, Italy. In Italy, we did Venice, Florence, Cinque Terre, and Rome. Quite a trip, and my daughter did awesome, but there's this one story that I need to tell where we were on a plane. My daughter is sleeping on the flight. We're going down, we're landing, and of course she wakes up right when we're landing, and she has been sleeping the whole time. We didn't want to wake her, and we get up, we land, and she wakes up, and we're in the middle of the plane, and when everyone gets up and the aisle is just jam-packed, and she says, "Dad, I really have to pee." I'm like, "Buddy, we are in the middle. There is no way we're getting in the back. There's no way we're making on the front. You have to hold it." And she says, "Dad, I have to pee. Let's go right now." And I go, "But we can't do that. You didn't wake up." And we're in the middle row, and my daughter is just standing right in the middle, and she goes, "Dad, I'm peeing. I'm peeing." And so everyone around us is just watching. Her pants, you could see it getting wet. And the worst part of it is she goes, "Dad, it's your fault. I told you, it's your fault." Like, I couldn't do anything. Like, we were literally sandwiched. There was no way, even if I was steamrolling to the back, we couldn't do that. And so that was like a noteworthy part of our trip. But from then on, we realized we should probably put the sleep underwear on her so that, hey, if we have an accident, like, just go for it. And actually, one of our flights back, it happened again. And we're like, "Just go." And she's like, "I'm peeing right now." We're like, "All right, well, hey, lesson learned."
You embrace the chaos, man. You embrace the chaos.
We totally embrace the chaos. Yeah, for sure. So that's what's going on in our life. But we made it. We had a good trip. Besides that, no blood, no foul on that one. So we were all right.
Trip looked amazing.
Oh, yeah. When we went to plan this trip, like, I was thinking about, and you could probably relate to this, like, with your kids, there's only so many summers where you got a free summer to do it. And our daughter could get into soccer or ballet or whatever it is, where it might take up a summer, or God forbid, she might be like, "I don't want to go with you guys." And so we were just like, "Screw it. Let's do it. We could die tomorrow. Let's freaking do it." And so we did. So
love that, man.
Yeah. All right, why don't you tell me a little bit about your dad, John? That's where we usually start.
Yeah, man, let's start with him. He is the toughest guy I know. I was raised in one of those, how do I phrase this, like, more traditional households. I've got 2 brothers, so I'm one of 3 boys, sandwiched in the middle, raised small town. My dad was hardworking guy, still is a hardworking guy, but he was at the same time with tons of work ethic, built his own career, heavily invested into us as kids. Me and my brothers, we have so many things that are similar, yet so many things that are different. And he became a jack of all trades. My older brother's a musician, so my dad's gonna figure out a way to support that. I was big into sports. He was the guy who taught me how to throw a curveball. My younger brother was blended between 2 older brothers, and my dad invested there. Just one of those guys who, first guy to offer up to drive the kids to a baseball tournament up in Canada, let's just say. We had a bunch of those, and it was just always the first guy to volunteer to do something, but he was also the first guy to put you straight. And a lot of what he did, still to this day, like, I say he's toughest dude I ever met. He's also the softest grandpa to my girls in the world. And just take that with me, man. It's a great way to be raised.
Yeah, that's really cool. And one of the things that stood out to me was that, like, you were describing your dad, but, like, literally a lot of those things are like how you would describe you as a father.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, it's a compliment. Yeah, no, I think, like, any boy and their dad, they butt heads. I think that more than anyone, my dad and I are more similar than either of my brothers. I think that we're the alphas, if you will. Yeah. And no, I think that there was a point in my life, probably around 17, 18 years old, where I was like, this guy doesn't dislike me. I think he knows what he's doing. And so that just, you get older and you start to realize that those things that were happening in your life, like, I can adopt those and I can maybe make small tweaks with them. I can implement them in how I raise my kids, how I live my life. yeah, definitely bleeds over.
Yeah, there's always I have these moments with my parents now where I'm like, shit, you did know what you were doing when you did that. Like, but you didn't feel that when it was happening, or you're like, oh, no wonder why you did that. Or it all makes sense. And I think that as parents, we just like hope that our kids realize, oh, that's why dad did this. Or
100%. Yeah, I 100% feel that way. And it just means that what he was doing was right. And like you said, I hope that my kids then down the road, they'll see that and they'll be like, you know what? Like, he wasn't as crazy as I thought he was.
Yeah.
He
knew what he was doing.
He's not as dumb as I thought he was. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah. So are you still cool with your dad? Like, you guys tight? You see
are.
each other often?
We do, yeah. I've got a really close family.
Yeah.
Both my wife and I have larger families. And in fact, we were just up at my youngest cousin's wedding this last weekend. And my whole family, we stayed at my uncle's house together. So yeah, my mom, dad, my wife is close with my mom. We've got a really tight-knit group, even though we're not all in the same area right now. The group thread is hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's great. Yeah, we're all still very close.
Yeah, and that's awesome. One of the things that stood out when we were talking about your family was being raised with your mom and your dad, have this close connection with your dad, surrounded by brothers.
Yep.
I can imagine there was probably a lot of sports, a lot of wrestling, a lot of just boy energy.
Absolutely.
And that takes us to what I typically ask is about your approach to fatherhood, and especially when you have two girls.
Yep.
You probably, maybe you guys are wrestling and doing all that stuff, but I know for me and my daughter, it's very different than, that father-son relationship. So tell me about what it's like being a girl dad, two girls, your dog is a female dog. You're just lone
We got a girl
rider.
cat too. We got a girl cat too.
Oh man, you're just lone rider in there. So tell me about that experience.
Yeah, it's so funny because growing up, I always envisioned I'd have boys. I'd have boys who would play the same sports that kids who play football, kids who play basketball. And jury's not out on that. Support the girls if they want to do that. But no, it's definitely grew up in a testosterone-rich household. A lot of drywall was fixed growing up. A lot of drywall was broken growing up. And it's funny because my older brother also has daughters too. He's got two daughters. So this next generation is all girls. And I think what you think you can't be a good girl dad going into it before you have your first daughter. And the second you see them, it's just like everything I thought is out the window. Like, I love this little creature so much that you just naturally evolve. And I will admit, I struggle sometimes with some of the more emotional, intimate stuff with the girls, with if they're embarrassed about certain things. But there's a learning curve, and I love it, dude.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having boys. I cannot imagine it. I've got toenails that are always painted. I've got, the girls are they're awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
A lot of Taylor Swift, though.
Oh man, I love it. I know, I've seen that bedroom. There is a lot of Taylor Swift
the
in
big
there.
Taylor Swift poster in Sawyer's room.
Sure, for sure. When my wife was pregnant, I was team girl all the time.
Yeah.
And the part of the reason was that I just knew that if I had a boy, I would too much want him to be like me.
Totally.
And there's this idea of letting them become their own person. And I'd be like, man, I just want them to do sports and play basketball and do all the things at me. And I felt like having a girl is this cute thing that I can just grow and support in whatever she wants. Because I don't know what the journey is as a girl. And so it's more like this like soft like journey. I'm here for you.
Yeah.
And so I was always team girl, and luckily I became team girl, but it's just like such a different vibe.
It totally is, man. It really is. And you even talk to your friends they've got boys around the same age. The relationship father-son versus father-daughter, it's so different. You feel so loved by these girls. And I think to the point of, I'm not steering them in any direction. They're making that decision as they go. I'm obviously influencing it.
Yeah.
But knowing that they're not going to go play football likely. So I can sit back and I can just support them with whatever they want to go do.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
It
man.
allows you to step back and be more supportive
100%.
rather than guiding. If it was a boy, you'd be like, why aren't you playing football? You just do that.
Don't you know what your dad did?
Yeah, exactly. Back in my day, I was running sprints here.
Uphill both.
Yeah, for sure. And so I don't think the sporting aspect hasn't been lost, though.
Correct.
Because you are still involved in them doing sports, some coaching. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've always said I wanted to coach. I don't know what level that's eventually going to be, but no, I think something here in Seattle and I think all over, there's not enough great coaches out there, and there's not enough people volunteering. And my daughter, it all started when Sawyer was I want to say 4 or 5, she wanted to play t-ball with all her friends.
Hell yeah.
And all her friends at the time were our friends' kids,
Yeah.
and they were all boys. So I was like, let's play t-ball. And so I coached the t-ball coach pitch team for 2 years. And then, assistant coach for soccer, heavily involved in gymnastics with the girls. Things that, like, I never played soccer. I played when I was a kid, but getting invested in that, learning drills and things like that, showing up at practice with the other coaches. And it's something that I really enjoy, especially thinking about just like athletics in general and sports in general. Both my wife and I, we played collegiate sports, and we really believe that being part of a team is a huge deal.
For sure.
Not just from giving them something to do in the summer, so mom and dad don't go crazy,
Yeah.
but teaching them to work with others. So we're really pushing. You're not going to specialize in anything. You're going to play all these different sports, and you're going to try all these different things, and you're going to interact with all these different kids, and you're going to learn to work as a team. Yeah, man, it's part of our life now. We've even, as a family unit, the kids love hitting golf balls in the garage.
Yeah.
Went from shooting hoops out in the driveway to hitting golf balls in the garage. And so my wife and I, we just thought, you know what? Here's something we can do as a family, and just leaned in. And it's part of our everyday life, it feels like.
Yeah. I like how you're trying to go about it with the lessons of life.
Yep.
And I might be critical of other parents. Sometimes I feel like the journey with sports for parents, it's just like too much.
Yeah.
I'll talk to parents and they're like, dude, we were in a tournament in Arizona this weekend and we played 8 games, and then we came back and then we played soccer and we did another tournament. And, dude, your kid's like 6 years old. So there's like added pressure on children. There's pressure on parents of you want them to be included on certain teams. And it's refreshing to hear a take from even collegiate athletes about what's realistic, but also using sports to just become better people.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that the end goal is not to make the NBA or the NFL. Maybe it is for some, but it's like just delivering great humans into the world. And so it's refreshing to hear you say, no, but here's being a great teammate and helping out. Like, those are just like building blocks to like good people.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more with you. I think, especially at our kids' age and the age that they're going to be for the next 5, 6, 7 years, if they're going to go pro in anything, we're not going to know for another 10 years. So it's really just about getting life experiences and learning how to lose effectively, learning how to lose. And I tweeted something the other day, or
You X'd it?
I X'd it, or whatever we're calling it these days. But some of my greatest accomplishments and experiences didn't come through like internships or working for this person. A lot of it comes from like listening to coaches from when I was like a junior in high school or when I was in college, where they're just teaching you that if you lose, you have to show up at practice. You have to, if you want to be better, you have to do certain things when nobody's watching. And these are like things that every athlete knows. In the real world, they apply as well. You got to invest the time. And we really try to not drill that into the kids' heads, but try to nudge them into learning about that.
Yeah, man, I love hearing that. And I hope that one day my daughter has a coach like you, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'll coach her.
No, that's great. That's great. One thing I want to touch on is we talk about girls. We both have girls. And one of the, I guess you could say, like, pressures that I put on myself is that I keep in the back of my mind that our relationships with our girls is often, or could be, what they seek and desire in their own relationships with men. And how we treat our wives is really important. How do we talk to our wives? And what are your thoughts on that? And I hate to put the pressure on you, but I feel like it's true, like how relationships are and what they look for in relationships eventually.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. My parents have been married for over 30 years. Yeah. So I did get to see firsthand what a successful marriage looks like. And that was an amazing experience growing up. But more and more studies show that girls seek what their father provided in a lot of different ways. And I'll say this to my core, Danielle, my wife, is my best friend. She's my partner. She's partner in both my career, our finances, raising our kids, intimacy, all of it. She checks all the boxes for me. And so I think, something, that we all run into with having kids is stress and anxiety and all these things. And something that we've been very stern about is, if we're going to have a serious conversation, we're not going to do it in front of the kids, because how they see us is what their future relationship should look like. And yeah, we're really strict on, if we're going to have a serious conversation, you need to argue sometimes, let's go to another room and let's hash it out. But no, Danielle's my best friend. I treat her with the most respect. I think she's the backbone of our family, hands down. And I want my kids to see that too. I think it also allows them, like, and almost forces them to respect her as well, because she's with them more than I am. And so if I respect mom, y'all better respect mom, or we're going to be in some trouble here. But no, it plays such a huge role.
Yeah, and I think that idea of empowering moms is like great for little girls to see,
100%.
Right? Look at mom in charge doing this, like kicking ass. That's great.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad you mentioned Danielle. Maybe she's listening to the show. Hey, shout out to Danielle. Great woman.
The GOAT.
Yeah, the GOAT. Great woman. Yeah, it's cool because most of my dads, or at least the ones that are in relationships, part of being a great dad is also being a great partner.
Yeah.
So almost always in the show, all the wives get like great shout outs.
Yeah.
Like it's, oh, she does everything, or she's the backbone, or she's the brains. And it's just good that we give props like that, especially for us girl dads, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to touch upon, John, was that you mentioned that you're in what you call the golden era of parenting. And I know a little bit about what you were saying, but please share about the golden era.
Yeah, this kind of term, or I obviously didn't coin the term, people have used it before, but I do a lot of blogging for work and whatnot. And I was thinking about a blog post, and I don't just want to write about tech, and I don't just want to write about AI. I want to write something personal. And just started, as I was prepping for this, just starting thinking about what is it like as we progress as parents, what are things that are going to just stand out if we have a linear map of our life as parents? What are times, experiences, what are things that we're going to do that are going to stand out? And I talked to my dad a little bit about this, and same with my older brother. And like, I truly, to like my core, think that like we're in this interesting time of parenting that I would probably consider the golden era, where at any point later in my life, when I look back, if I say, hey, if I could go back to one period, it'll probably be this. And I think the reason behind that is that my daughters are at the age where my oldest, she's like the ringleader. Like, she is independent. She's in her room crafting. She's recording herself dancing. She grab her phone and record it. The new Forrest Frank album just came out, and she's making up dances. But they're still so young and so innocent and creative and crazy, but they still think mom and dad are cool. And my wife and I we had the kids young, and we're still young too. And so we're all keeping up with the energy at the same time. And I think that we'll look back on it and we'll just say, damn, like, that was an awesome period of life. When I'm 50 years old, I'll look back and say, man, remember when the girls, they weren't annoyed with dad, or they weren't asking for money, or or whatever challenges we have in the future. We've got this 1, 2, maybe 3-year window where we don't have real world challenges. We've got challenges that are just within inside of our house. And it's such an amazing time.
Yeah, I like that perspective, and I'm glad that you have it. It's something that I always try to keep with myself, especially when we have tough moments in our house or whatever it might be with my daughter. It's like, I tell my wife all the time, I say, in 30 years, if we said you can have anything to be in this moment right now, we would say, hell yeah, bring me there. And we're here right now.
Yeah.
So let's be there. Let's be present. And I say that even through our toughest time. And there was another meme where some guy was like, imagine you're 80 years old and this is the only memory you have where you're at right now. You'd be like, hell, bring me there. This is the best moment, even if your kid's having a meltdown or whatever you're having. And so I always try to keep that perspective, even with like our European trip. It's like, there's no better time than now. And it's jokingly, I tell my wife, I'm like, we could die tomorrow. Let's like freaking live right now.
Absolutely.
And I love that you feel that way. And it came to fruition the other day, or it was last Friday. My daughter was doing dance camp. And this is her first ever camp, let alone dance camp. And Friday she had her first dance recital, and it's only like a 20-minute recital. It's like, and they were throwing like feathers up. It wasn't really a show, and I left work for it. I told my wife, I was like, there is absolutely no way that I'm gonna miss this.
Absolutely.
And when I went back, even in time, you can think about things that you've missed or moments, and you're like, what the hell was I doing at that time? And you're like, I don't know. And the truth is that when you're 80 or 60, or hell, when you're even 45, you're not going to remember what you were doing at work or what meeting you had or what presentation you had. But what she was doing at dance class, you're not going to forget that. And I think that like it's so important, and I know just being your friend and seeing your activities, I know that you're that way. So like I love just like reiterating, it's like now is the time, right?
Yeah.
Sure, you can have an important day at work, but there'll be that tomorrow, and
wait.
the emails will be there tomorrow.
And I think you can even flip it around too, that it's not just the golden era for like my wife and I, it's also the golden era for our kids too, in some way, shape and form. Like my oldest daughter, not 8 yet, 8 and 3 weeks. I remember being 8 years old. She's going into this era of her life where I remember being 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade elementary school. And so what she sees in us is going to last until I turn 36 next month. It's a core memory. It's this era that we're in is not just going to last with us for the rest of our adult lives, but it's going to last with her through her teen years, through her 20s, through her first year of marriage, for having a kid. And so I hope that we take advantage, we take the most of it. And yeah, we're in a great little window in time right now.
Yeah. So tell me, with the golden era, what are the tough moments?
The tough moments, the tough moments, emotions. I think tough moments are definitely emotions. The balance of doing as much as you can, but not wearing your kids out. And what I mean by that is teaching them that we live in a beautiful area. It's summertime. We go hiking. We do all these different things. And it's like, you know what, sometimes like we just need to take a few steps back because the kids seem a little too irritated with each other. And so, just having mellow time, allowing the kids to just go off on their own. And so I think the challenging times are definitely emotions with a 5-year-old, emotions with an 8-year-old. Also, the 8-year-old, you don't want them to grow up too fast. I think with technology, that's a whole deeper conversation. But just making sure that they stay youthful. Don't just throw an iPad at them.
Sure. Yeah. The growing up too fast thing hits home for me. My daughter's going to be starting kindergarten. And maybe I'll ask your advice on this one because I get so nervous about all these other variables that are now introduced, right? Before she's at home or she's in our group, we know everything. You throw them out in the world and then there's other kids, there's other parents, there's other things they're going to see. And I'm just like, holy shit, like I'm losing control, right? Help calm me, John. What are you going to tell me?
Yeah, I think elementary schools, like the influence is there. I think, what I've seen, and we've seen it so much with Sawyer, with our oldest, that they're almost like they're mini me between you and your wife. And then they go off and they see other kids who are mini me's of their parents, and they just start to evolve. I think it reassures me is that we've put in the time to ensure that our kids know what's right and wrong. And so they're going to make good decisions, just generally speaking. But I think it also, for us, like so much of my life is not just influenced by my family, it's influenced by friends, it's influenced by culture, it's influenced by career, it's influenced by friends that I made when I was in elementary school. And so I think to like reassure, those are good influences, like giving them the space to spread their wings a little bit, but making sure that you're still guiding them in that right direction. And dude, when they go to elementary school, it's so much, they become a little more sassy, they've got a little more spunk to them, but it's such a fun era. They come home from school with a new joke or a new hand gesture, the little hand stuff that the girls do, and it's a blast, man.
That's cool, man. I'm not as worried about them coming home and learning and my relationship with them, but it's more just like how they show up and are with the outside world. Maybe my daughter can be shitty to the outside world, or maybe people could be shitty to her, the outside world. And so that's what most concerns. One of my like approaches to it, or what I try to build at least, is for her to just go out in the world as the most confident little girl in the world. And and that's what I have been trying to preach with her, building her and her ability to just like think through things or get through emotions and confidence. And I said this on another show, but my approach is building this confident girl that if she were to run into, say, a bully, you can't phase her because she's got this confidence, or she knows who she is. Or you say you have ugly hair, she says, screw you, I have great hair. That's the type of girl that I'm hoping to build. And I guess build up. Like, I'm not putting a
build a bear.
Build a bear. But so that's what I'm like trying to focus on right now. And I'm just like, man, it's so hard.
And you guys are doing she's really such a confident, great little girl. I love that girl so much. I think the other piece to it with as well as the confidence is that they also feel comfortable. And I know Rui has this with you where she would talk to you about something did happen, because it's not the worst thing that somebody says something bad to them. It's a learning lesson too of teach them, hey, that's their opinion and they're wrong. That we evolve from that. We move on from it. And you guys have built such a great foundation too that you and Steph, like you guys have.
Thanks, man.
She's a great little girl.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think I need to, like, I'm a little bit overbearing in it where I'm just like, let go, Kev. Let go.
It's hard though.
Dude,
it's hard,
man. You can't protect them, but you want to.
Yeah.
Real quick before we switch gears, for other girl dads out there, do you have one piece of advice, one thing to focus on for girl dads?
No, the advice that I was going to give you hit on it earlier of treating your spouse with respect. I think I cannot drill that into every dad, husband's brains enough is you want to teach your kids how to respect their partner. And so that's my biggest advice is build that foundation with your spouse. Parenthood's hard. Don't go, if you've got the option to be a team with your spouse, don't burn that thing down, build it up, be a team, divide and conquer. You forget to get coffee at the grocery store and you're going to have a late night with the kids. Volunteer, go get the coffee in the morning. Do what you can to make life easier for your partner. Yeah, I think just invest in your relationship with your spouse.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. And I get to talk to guests on this show all the time. And it's so helpful for me, for y'all to say things like that, because I leave each show with basically like homework, right?
Yeah.
It's like what John said on the show is, oh shit, I got to remember that. And thanks for that. I'm taking that one and I'll focus on it today and tonight and moving forward. Stephanie's going to like it. Hey, Steph, I'm working on it. Okay. One of the things I wanted to talk about was a little bit about your personal story.
Yep.
You have a story about your family, your father, and how that shaped your approach to fatherhood in general and family. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, this is something that I think shaped just me, like, to my core and who I am today. My family, I think I've talked a lot about the relationship I have with my dad, my mom, my brothers. And back in 07, 08, the housing crisis, family-wise, we damn near lost everything. And I actually bring this up as almost a positive thing, a way that it shaped my life, because I was old enough at that time to see the anxiety, to see the stress, to understand what was going on. I was 18 years old at the time, 17 going on 18 years old. And I got to see, I was old enough, I was a man at that time. I got to see what was going on. I got to feel what was going on. And my parents, they sheltered us from a lot of it. But my brothers and I, we saw what was going on more than most kids do. And I watched my dad, I don't want to say lose everything, because we didn't lose everything, but we lost a lot. And I saw him evolve as a human being, go from running he had his own construction company, we had a family business, to him researching and moving out of state and getting a job and sending money back to us so my brother could stay in the same high school that he started at, so I could continue my freshman year of college, so my older brother could stay at university. And so I basically watched firsthand this guy who I admired, who I feared, who I respected, pull himself up from his bootstraps and now get everything and then some back. And it's just something that I think back on it, and it was really challenging, a lot of scar tissue. But again, it's something that I learned from. And to my core, I think we've gone through our generation. We've gone through the housing crisis. We've gone through COVID. Who knows what the next thing is going to be? Tariffs.
Trump.
The list goes on of what our generation's gone through. And I think resilience has just been fostered. It's just been hey, life's going to kick you in the ass. You could stay down or you can roll with the punches and you can figure something out. And I think that's just, again, that really challenging time in life. And I think still to this day, I think about what can I do to never get back there and to where
with your family,
with my family, how do I ensure that if this shit happens to me, how do I ensure that my kids aren't affected, that they can still pursue their dreams, that they don't feel as if they need to alter their life in order to help the greater cause? Because my dad went through a lot and he sacrificed friendship, where he left to make it happen. And yeah, shout out Dad. Where's the camera?
Yeah.
Appreciate
shout
you,
out
man.
Dad. Yeah.
Appreciate you, big dog.
Yeah. Yeah, and so tell me about how that became something for you and your family, and it definitely made you stronger. But I think that as parents, sometimes we see trauma that we or family members went through, and we're like trying to figure out how do we make sure the next generation doesn't get that same trauma.
Yeah, no, I can even share a little bit. My wife comes from a split family as well, so she's got her own scar tissue as well, and we just band together, and we've got these experiences where we say, you know what, like, what can we do to avoid that happening to us? And just how do we put all of our chips in a certain line to make sure that we are giving ourselves the best opportunity? And I think that's really what it is too, is, you know, you have to focus on yourself. You have to focus on your own career or your own opportunities in order to give as much as you can to your children.
Yeah.
And I think that, I don't want to say that's lost. A lot of people don't invest in themselves. Right. And by doing so, I'm a better husband, I'm a better father, I'm a better friend, I'm a better coach. Investing in myself can really help me wear all these different hats in a great way for my family.
Yeah. I like that, man. And one of the things that you talked about was like just preparing and making sure that you guys are ready for anything. In a little bit of the upfront when we were talking, you mentioned like your job is to provide.
Yeah.
And I really like that. And it always takes me to my next question, or I always talk about balance. Yeah. And we balance our careers, we balance our family, we balance ourselves. And one of the difficult things is when we have pressure with things like our jobs.
Yep.
We have to make money, and it is a tangible thing that we need.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's easy for myself or whoever that I just said, oh, my daughter has a dance recital, I'm going to miss work. It's not always that easy for people. And so there is a level of balance where maybe I'm not going to remember this meeting when I'm 80, but hell, I should probably be there.
Yeah.
And so can you tell me about how you juggle that?
Yeah.
You know, I know that sometimes with your work, there's important days or presentation, whatever it might be, client.
Yeah.
And maybe your daughter has a dance recital that day. What goes through your head?
Yeah, no, you're right. I think I'm very blessed to have a great career in what I do, and it definitely is consuming, whether that means it's long days of meetings with clients, to travel, to we've got some bugs in our product that I have to sign on at 9:00 at night, and I've got to figure that out. I think you just got to weigh it. And I think that, again, having that partnership with your spouse where maybe I can't make it today because really urgent something at work, which is code red, mission critical. Having that relationship with Danielle, my wife, where I can't be there, but she'll be there, she'll video it, we'll be talking the whole time, and then I'll peel out of work as early as I can, take the kids and go get ice cream. Yeah. So it's still making special moments out of a special day, even though I wasn't there for the recital or I wasn't there. And so you just got to juggle it. But again, I got to go back and vouch for the wife. She's the backbone of the family. Without her, we couldn't do all this. And so you just got to figure out that happy medium, because you're right. You can't, I don't want to come up here and say I'm going to everything that my kids are doing. You got to miss stuff. And I think you make up for it with special moments with the kids. And that's where being hands-on, whether it's coaching or, okay, I'm home now, my wife, go to the gym, me and the girls, we're going to go to the park. So you're still getting those intimate times with your kids, even if you can't make everything.
Yeah, man, I like that. And that's one of the things that I try to do is if I'm missing something, then I'm not going to be there, but after or tomorrow or next week we're going to. And so it's just like a delayed moment, right? Or I'm going to watch the video that mom took of you doing it. And then we're going to do X after. We're going to go get McDonald's or whatever.
Absolutely.
So you can still have those moments. And I think that's really important that she or he or your kid didn't lose that time with you. It's just you get another moment that we're going to create and make special.
But it takes effort. You got it, conscious effort. You got to know that just because I didn't make it, we still got to go and we got to do something fun. We got to make an experience. Yeah. I love that.
+1, man. Yeah. That is, so the Rise and Dad podcast, the biggest thing about the Rise and Dad podcast, as some of our viewers will know, is this intentionality. And it's exactly what you just said. Like when you can't make it, then you're intentional about creating new moments.
Absolutely.
Or saying that you missed it for X reason and this is what we're going to do. And it's that effort about being intentional. And like effort is so hard because we think our kids don't always have full context of our lives and how you need to make money and you need to still have your job and not get laid off or whatever it might be. But the intentionality is there, and I think that's like just the biggest thing. I'm doing this because this.
Yep.
We're gonna have McDonald's tomorrow because I missed this, and so love it. All right, John, we're moving on. This is a couple quick hitters for us. Questions that we always give all of our guests. What is the biggest challenge for you as a father? Biggest challenge to fatherhood?
I think the biggest challenge of fatherhood is time. I think it really is. Growing up, you always hear the old heads talking about time, and days are long, man. 24 hours. I get out of class. I got all day, go home. You get older and you work and you invest in a career and you have kids and you have a partner and you've got all these things. And I think time management just becomes so crucial that you just need to figure out where and when you can fit these buckets of time, whether it's downtime where we're just laying on the couch. My kids love this new zombies Disney movie, High School Musical basically, of the new generation. So, you know what? Do I really want to watch this? Absolutely not. But I want to spend time with my kids. So let's make some popcorn and let's lay down on the couch and let's cuddle for 2 hours as a family. And the biggest challenge is just managing time and figuring out when and where I can squeeze all these different experiences in. But you get the hang of it, I think.
That's great, man. And what is the best thing about being a dad?
I would say, and I wrote this down and I'm like, man, it feels corny, but unconditional love. I'm very vocal. You know this about me. I'm the guy who, like, when I say bye to my friends, dap them up and tell them I love them. I really think that there's a lot of support that you get from telling people how you feel. But no, my girls, they, for some reason, and maybe all little girls do this, they love to tell us that they love us. And it's just a feeling that I get from them and that I have for them that I've never had. I love my wife, but like I love my girls more than anything. And I think that's the best thing is I was never a crier. Never. I cry all the time now.
Oh, man.
Like, man, you see, I was watching one of your previous videos for one of the previous guests and talking about like the iPhone memories.
It's so sad.
Bro, those get
I'm
me.
telling you, man, for sure.
Corny as hell, but they get
plus
me.
one to crying, man. You know what? Lately, social media memes have been getting me.
Dude.
It's like little dad memes or
Oh
dad
my
content.
God.
They're getting me. But you know what? The thing that you mentioned about your daughters and saying they love you and like you, that is 100% a compliment to you and your wife that they say that and that they do that. And I fully wholehearted believe that they're only doing that because that's what they see. That's how they see you guys. So plus one to that.
Appreciate it.
Because like I know with my daughter, every night she puts her stuffies to bed and she is just like the kindest soul to them and she speaks to them just so kindly. And I realize that she actually just repeats everything that my wife says. And it's so sweet. And you hear so many stories, even people on my podcast where they say, oh yeah, I wish I would have heard my dad say that or whatever. And then me think about that, hearing that story, I'm like, hell no, my daughter is never going to say that to anyone because she's almost going to be tired of me saying I love you. Appreciate that you do that because your girls are learning. And for me also, I see it when how my daughter treats our dogs. Even she's so sweet how she tells them I love you. I always look over at my wife. I'm like, she's just repeating what she hears, and it's so great. So that's props to you, man. You guys set that up.
Really. Yeah, we love, man.
I love that. Yeah,
love, man.
And it's not a bad, like, we need to just say it over and over. I am like a full proponent of being soft. And one, why do I need to be like some tough dad? Tell you I love you, tell you how beautiful you are, tell you how great you are. Like those, like we are setting the foundation for you in that world. So hell yeah, I'll build you up.
And the world's such a shit place too in general. As we get older, we see everything and whatnot, and it's, man, I never want my girls to ever think or to second guess if am I pretty, am I a smart person, am I loved. Like, man, I want you, the world's hard enough as it is. I don't want you second guessing anything about yourself. So I'm gonna flood you with love, I'm gonna hype you up, and then you can go figure out the world. But that shouldn't be a concern of yours.
Love it, man. We're going to move on to our this or that portion. This is the Rise and Dad, this or that. So just some quick answer for you, this or that. Would you rather do bath time or school pickup?
I like school pickup. Bath time's chaotic. School pickup, I love, and I'm that annoying dad that's, would you learn today? And they'll say, I don't know, I don't remember. And I'll say, no. What'd you learn today? Lay it on me. I want to hear everything. What'd you do at recess? What are you working on in math? I just love it, man. I loved school growing up. And so I just love to pick them up and talk with the other parents, bullshit with the other dads as we're waiting. Like, it's a blast.
Yeah, you're definitely one of those. I usually, when I'm doing pickup, I don't want to talk to anyone. Dude, I'm just like, let me just get her and get out of the way.
I'm standing there. I'm getting there a little early.
Yeah. One of the things that you said, though, was about the questions after school.
Yeah.
One of these things that I've been working on was to ask your kid, who was kind to you today?
That's good.
I started doing that with Rui, and I'll be like, hey, who was kind to you today? And I asked her always and over, always and always. And sometimes I'll get a name, sometimes I'll get a teacher, or I'll get nobody. But when you ask who's kind, then your kid often tries to look for the kind people so that he or she has something to say. She knows that dad's going to ask her about who is kind. So I better find a kind person so that do something. Yeah. And so I've been trying to do that lately where I'm just like, who is kind? Were you kind? All this. And hopefully she's just around kind people.
I'm going to take that from you.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. We got a little sidetrack. You want to take the morning routine or the nighttime routine?
I do the nighttime routine. Yeah, I do the nighttime routine every single night still. One of those COVID hobbies that we all have like invested in or picked up. My girls wanted to learn guitar, and so I learned how to play guitar with them. And so every night we play guitar, every single night. We've been doing it since probably 2021. So yeah, I love nighttime routine. I think gives the wife a little bit of a break from long day with the kids. And we just sit in a room. We just finish reading, play a little guitar, just hang out.
I love it, man.
Experiences.
More of that Taylor Swift influence right there, dude.
Gotta feel up my sleeve.
All right, a long car ride or a long flight?
I love long car rides.
Okay.
I love road trips. We were big road trip family growing up. My wife hates them.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, we drove all the way down to Palm Springs with the kids and the dog.
Yeah.
And I freaking loved it. The girls did not love it. My wife did not love it, but I just turned into, we got to eat beef jerky. We got to have like cheese whiz. We got to do all the old school stuff. I love car rides.
Nice. One-on-one time, so that'd be you and one daughter, or the whole family?
One-on-one, because don't get a whole lot of it. Usually we do things as a big family. I love when I get an opportunity, grab one of the kids, go get ice cream, go get a slice of pizza, even as they're at almost 8 and 5. You just learn things from them, especially Sawyer, my oldest. Pick up little things that I'm like, I didn't know that about you. So I do love the one-on-one time.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hey, John, at the beginning of the pod, I asked you to talk about your dad.
Yeah.
Now, in 20 years, if we talked to one of your girls and we said, tell us about your dad, what would you hope that they would say?
I hope that they would say I'm funny. I think funny would be the thing. I try to crack them up as much as possible. I would hope that they would say I'm a funny guy. I was a clown at home, trying to always make them laugh, but that I was always there. So I think I'm changed my answer, that I was always there. I hope that they had noticed how much time and effort Mom and I put into it. And I just hope that they see that we put in the effort, that we were always there, and we really invested in staying a family for as long as possible, forever.
I love it, man. Hey, and that's in 20 years, so you could start today. Yeah. Hey, man, that takes us to the end of the pod. Super excited that you were able to join us. I think we hit on some great things about being a girl dad, keeping balance, providing, but also being sensitive and telling our kids I love them. Yep. I really appreciate you joining the pod. I hope you had a good time.
Had a blast, man.
And so for Kevin and John, thanks a lot, and have a good one. What's up, dads? Thank you for listening to this episode of the Rise and Dad podcast. We hope that you like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, and do all of the great things that help us continue to make great content for you.